Welcome everyone to another episode of Fish Report Live. My name is Craig Kissinger.
And I'm Ken Francis.
And we're coming to you live from the Fish Report studio here in Russia, Ohio. It is Thursday night, February 9th, 2012. And Ken, you know what? I was looking for another show on SEL Sports on the internet. And guess what? I couldn't find one.
Did you Google it?
I Googled it. I couldn't find another show on SEL Sports on the internet. You believe that?
You know what, Craig? I've been told a lot of people like listening to us and stuff out there. And knowing that, we have to be the best Shelby County sports talk show there is in the world.
I'll agree with that. I think we get that by default, but
could be, but we're still the best, right?
All right, you're right.
We're the worst too, but we'll say we're the best.
All right. Not only do we cover high school boys and girls, but we saw one heck of a junior high girls game this past week, didn't we?
We did, Craig. The finals of the junior high Shelby County League tournament was held at Russia, and the Russia 7th graders played the Fairlawn 7th graders in what it was just a great 7th grade basketball game. Final score was 29-26. Russia won the game, and then stuck around and watched the 8th grade game as well. And Fort Loramie won that one over Anna. And I tell you what, both of those teams were really good, Craig. So it looks to me like the cream of the crop in the Shelby County League, Fort Loramie Anna, is going to just be loading up again next year because they got some really good kids coming into play. So Congratulations to the Russia 7th grade girls and Fort Loramie 8th grade girls.
That 7th grade game, I know this sounds funny, but as exciting as a game as I've probably seen all season. A lot of junior high excitement there, but I had fun watching it. And we've got the boys championship games coming up this weekend, right?
We do, Craig. Those will be held at Fairlawn. And Russia's 7th grade is a perfect 18-0 on the year right now. So come out and root them on to a possible undefeated season. They'll take on the home team Fairlawn Jets. And in the 8th grade game, the Russia Raiders 8th grade team will be taking on Anna. So that should be a good one also. I know they met in the regular season. I think Anna won by like 2 or 4 points. It was a close game. So
okay, looking forward to that. I know I'm going to travel to Fairlawn to watch those couple games. Should be a lot of fun. So, all right, Ken, well, let's get to our trivia question for tonight. Let's let the viewers out there know what you got in store this week.
Well, Craig, once again, the winner for tonight's trivia question will get a free Fish Report Live t-shirt. Craig, there's a lot of these starting to float around. I'm starting to see them all over the place.
Me too.
Tonight's trivia question, we're going to spin it towards Shelby County League girls basketball. And the Shelby County League, once again, is loaded with talent. The high-scoring Brooke Richard from Jackson Center, Natalie Billing from Anna, amongst several other girls. Here soon the year-end awards will be coming out, Craig. And who was the last, tonight's question is, who was the last Shelby County League girls basketball player to make first team All-Ohio? Who was the last Shelby County League girls basketball player to make first team All-Ohio?
First team All-Ohio. I've got a couple names in mind. I'll have to see if I'm right at the end of the episode tonight.
Well, good luck. Tweet us, text us, Facebook us, however you want to get us an answer, and hopefully you'll be the winner of a Fish Report t-shirt.
All right, well, we'll check on that at the end of the show. All right, let's get to tonight's games. There was actually 7 SEL schools in action tonight, Ken, which is a little bit rare, but they're all kind of finishing up their seasons. A lot of these schools have 18, 19 games in, so some of them are wrapping it up tonight, some of them are wrapping up this weekend. Before we get to that, though, we do have one MAC score. I know they were playing for the MAC title tonight over in Fort Recovery. Marion is over in Fort Recovery. You have any update on that?
We do. Huge game over in Fort Recovery. Packed house from what I've heard. Marion Local went in at 7-1. Marion Local went into the game at 7-0. Fort Recovery went in at 6-1. Marion Local won the game 55-41. They outshot Fort Recovery in the second half and pulled away. So congratulations to the Flyers, MAC champs, 8-0. And I'll tell you, if you go 8-0 in the MAC, Craig, you must have yourself a pretty fine ball club.
Yeah. I listened to that game a little bit on the radio, caught bits and pieces of it. It sounded like Marion's Chelsea Winter had a nice game, and Fort Recovery's 5'9" senior Kylie Collig sounded like she scored a bunch of points too.
Yeah, those Collig girls and boys, from what I've heard, that's just a very talented family over there in Fort Recovery.
Sure is. All right, let's get to the SEL now. Had one non-league game. Houston traveled to Riverside. Actually, Houston's last regular season game. Houston actually has a record of 10-9 before tonight's game overall. What happened there, Ken?
Houston improved 11-9, Craig, guaranteeing them a winning season. So congratulations to the Houston Wildcats. They won 52-44. Phipps and Elliott both chipped in 15 points for Houston, the winners, and Sarah Jenkins had 15 for Riverside, so it was a good ball game.
All right, all right. And then the next game we're going to talk about was an SEL game. Jackson Center traveled to Anna. Not sure if we have an update on that one. Anything?
I don't have any updates, Craig, but I could about imagine the outcome of that one. Although Jackson Center can put points on the board, so who knows? It may have been closer than we thought.
Well, Jackson was going for a perfect league record. They were 11-0 going into that game. If they did go to 12-0, that's what, their second season, I believe.
That would be their second straight season, going towards 19-0. Looking, and they're we've said it all year, they're just a very good basketball team, the Anna Lady Rockets. So congratulations to Coach Billing on a Shelby County League championship.
Okay, and then the next game we want to talk about was Botkins went to Fort Laramie. Any update on that one?
Yeah, Fort Laramie ended up winning that one 61-41. They led by 20 points through 3 quarters and held on to that one with a fairly comfortable win at Fort Laramie. Fort Laramie was led by Darren Rose with 16 points. The hot shooting Macy Turner right now, Craig, we can add her into the mix of the tough Fort Laramie girls. She had 13 points. Kylie Dries had 11 on senior night over there in Fort Laramie. Reggie Brandaway chipped in 8. For the losers, the Botkins Trojans, Pitts had 12, Christina Johnson had 10, and Claire McCullough had 8 points. So good ball game. And Botkins has had a pretty nice year. I think Don Mack's got to be happy. It's tough to go into Fort Laramie and win, and it proved to be so tonight as well.
Okay, and then the last game we want to talk about was Rushi traveling to Fairlawn. Not sure if we have a score on that. I know we're going to talk to TK here in just a second, get him on the phone and ask him about that. But did you get any kind of score on that game?
Yes, we do. Rushi ended up winning the game 55-24. I don't have a whole lot of scoring updates on the Fairlawn side, but I do know for Rushi, Kylie Wilson, the high-scoring freshman, had 12 points. Shayna Meyer had 11, and Taylor Daniel chipped in 9. So Rushi gets another league win and moves to 11-8 on the year. They've got 1 game left at Lehman Saturday, which kind of will, I don't want to jump ahead of things, but that's a possible tournament matchup there too, Craig, later in the sectional. So I don't look for either team to show each other a whole lot in that game.
Okay. Yeah, that actually moved Rushi's league record up to 6-6. They were in a 2-way tie for 3rd place with Botkins, so that puts Rushi in sole possession of 3rd place. That's how they finish out the year. And Botkins looks like they moved down a spot there. So let's get TK on the phone here and see if we can get maybe a few more updates on that Rushi Fairlawn game and talk to him about the tournament. So
I hope we can get a hold of him.
You got the right number, don't you?
I hope so. That one time I kept dialing the wrong number.
All right. TK.
Good, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Hi TK, glad to have you back on the line this week.
It's good to be with you guys.
Now
basketball.
We heard the Raiders won, but we didn't get too many specifics on that. Do you have anything for us on that Raiders Jets game?
A couple more specifics on that one. Did start out with a slow game at the end of the first quarter. Raiders were up 11-8, but then they opened everything up. By halftime, they were up 29-8, and as you guys said, ended up 55-24. In addition to the top scorers Ken already mentioned, the Raiders did have 10 girls score tonight, so a lot of playing time for a lot of girls, good experience out there. And then the Jets were led by Slinkowski with 11, and Cummings had 6 points.
All right.
Good.
Well, like I said, that puts Rushi in sole possession of 3rd place. They were tied for 3rd, and that finishes out their league. And then they have, 1 game left this weekend, I think Ken said. Lehman on Saturday?
Yeah, they go against the Cavaliers. I think they're 9-11 or 9-10, something like that. But have been on a roll. I think we talked about them last week. Had a pretty good year since came to 2012, and it should be a good game this Saturday.
All right, looking forward to it. All right, TK, I want to get to the good stuff now. We had the girls' tournament draw last weekend. We talked to you about it. You almost nailed the seeding there. I think 2 and 3 was a little different than you might have guessed. But I want to get to the good stuff, the tournament. So I want you to take out your tournament bracket right now. I want to invite the viewers out there to, if they're on the Fish Report Live page, to go to the top of the page, click on that that tournament link up there. You can pull up the tournament bracket as well, and you can look at the bracket as we're going over it. And I want to dissect this Sidney sectional. Can you help us out with that, TK?
I'll give it a shot.
All right.
Craig, I feel like March Madness in February. I got my big bracket here. I'm ready to fill the whole thing out. I'm going crazy. This is great stuff.
This is great, and I'm excited about the Sidney sectional. I think this is as good a teams that have been in this sectional probably for a long time, and I'm going to go and watch teams that I don't even care much about. I just want to see some good basketball. So, all right, TK, let's start at the top of the bracket. Do you have your bracket out?
Yes, I do.
All right, let's start at the top of the bracket here. I want to start with this Mechanicsburg-Fairlawn game. Before we even talk about Mechanicsburg, is there any reason to think that this is going to be any kind of game, or should we just move Mechanicsburg into the next spot?
I think you just move Mechanicsburg right up.
All right. Nothing against Fairlawn there, but going, they're at 0-20 right now. Mechanicsburg's the number 3 seed.
Move them on.
Move them on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to the second round game. Botkins-Mechanicsburg. Botkins right now is at 8-11. Mechanicsburg coming in with a 13-4 record. What do you got for us in this one, TK? Anything you want to share with us on Mechanicsburg or Botkins?
I think look at Mechanicsburg and see how well they've done. Like we said before, I think hard to judge between the two different leagues. But I was looking at some of their numbers. They're averaging, I think, in the 50s a game for points. They took Riverside 110-41.
Oh, wow.
And then they lost to Triad. They lost that game 72-68. And that's a lot of points to put up on the board. I'm not sure Botkins can slow them down.
Wow.
Well, that Triad game, I talked to some people that attended that game last Saturday night, and I guess it was just a great game. Like you said, 72-68 is a lot of points, girls or boys. I know they have a senior over there, Tori Perk, that I believe she had 31 in that game, and she must be one heck of a player. She came
out of Graham as the Central Buckeye Conference Player of the Year, and then moved over to Mechanicsburg,
right,
and just fit right into that team.
Tori Perk gets a lot of the attention over there at TK, but don't forget, you can't forget about some of the other kids. They got a Kristen Dunlap over there that scores very well, and then a couple other youngsters in the Dodane girls, and I know they're the coach's kids, I believe, but they got a nice program going on over there. And did I hear you correctly say they scored 110 points against Riverside?
That's what it was, 110-41.
Wow, and Houston just played Riverside in a somewhat fairly close game tonight. So, that's very interesting information. And knowing what you just said there, I'm looking forward to maybe to a Mechanicsburg-Fort Loramie matchup in the sectional final there, and that might be a good one.
Yeah, kind of skip ahead there, but that's what I see happening. It'll be interesting to see that Nacia's Fort Loramie defense against obviously a powerhouse that they can score. I don't know what kind of defense they play, but obviously they can get up and down the court and put the ball in the basket. I
was told that Mechanicsburg, Triad, a lot of these teams in the OHC like to play a lot of junk defenses, and that's what they saw on Saturday night between Triad and some box and ones, triangles and twos, a 1-3-1 zone. They just, not a whole lot of man was getting played last Saturday night.
Right. So, but you accused me of skipping ahead there a little bit, TK, and I apologize for that. But moving Fort Loramie past Riverside and past Troy Christian is a no-brainer. And Craig and I, and I'm sure yourself agree, Fort Loramie is going to be playing in a sectional championship game.
Yeah, I think they showed it again tonight at Botkins, 20-point win. A lot of girls scoring for them. I think they're obviously a solid team. They're going to move right through that. It's going to be Fort Loramie and Mechanicsburg. And like Craig said, it'll be a heck of a game. One of many really good games in that section.
All right, well, give me a prediction. If we got Mechanicsburg and Fort Loramie in the finals, who's coming out?
Well, I hate to throw a little spoiler in there. I'll throw this one in here early. Triad got upset tonight by Greenview.
Oh, wow.
And it was 42-36. And Triad beat, as I think we talked about before, Triad beat Mechanicsburg. But I think you put some tenacious SCL defense on them, and it's going to be a battle. And I see Fort Laramie coming out of that one. The way they're spreading the ball around, I'm not sure they'll be able to stop. Mechanicsburg will be able to stop Fort Laramie, and that defense I think will slow them down and stop them from scoring like they've been all year.
Okay, good call on that. I'm going to agree with you too. I think Laramie takes that sectional.
I'm going to agree with you also, TK. Fort Laramie's defense, I seen them play the other day, against Russia. And Russia's got a pretty decent team. And you watch Fort Laramie and they got Darian Rose, they got Reggie Brandon, and all of a sudden Macy Turner's getting hot. It's just one girl after another. But one thing for sure, TK, every night, whether Fort Laramie girls are hitting their shots or not hitting their shots, guaranteed the Redskins are going to play defense. And they're going to bring that defensive team with them every night. And they're just going to be a tough out in this district tournament.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, Ken.
All right, let's move down to the Sidney 2, or the lower half, or the other sectional there. And I'm going to start out with that Houston-Lehman. I know that's a second-round game. TK, if I had to pick one spot in these two brackets that I would like to be in, that's the spot right there. That's you win that game, you're in the sectional finals. But I don't know if you agree with me on that or not. But Houston-Lehman to me sounds like a pretty good game.
Yeah, it should be a tough matchup. We'll know a little bit more after Saturday when we actually see the Raiders play Lehman and get a real taste for them. Houston's been tough. They struggle a little bit here and there, but a good team all the way around, and I think they'll probably pull that one out.
Okay. You picking Houston there, TK?
Yeah, I say Houston's going to take that game.
All right.
I think their scoring's a little bit more balanced, as we saw tonight. Phipps, Elliott, Reister had 14, I believe, in that game, and they're balanced. I know Lehman's got a nice 1-2 punch there. I don't know what else they had beyond that.
Yeah. Lehman's got two great scores, TK. Not a whole lot of depth after that, so I won't argue that pick. I'd take the Wildcats as well.
All right, let's go down to the bottom then, and you already told us about Triad. They were at 18-0 before tonight. I thought they might come into this tournament, TK, at 20-0. I know they finished their season at West Liberty Salem on Saturday, but I guess the best they can be is 19-1. Still at 19-1, going against a Jackson Center team that's probably 7-12. That looks like kind of a mismatch. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you there, Craig. Looking at Triad, they've been scoring an average of 68 points per game. Even with the setback tonight, I think they're going to come in and they're going to take Jackson. I'm not sure it's going to be much of a game.
I'm surprised to hear you say that, TK, but I look for that game to be a real shootout. I look for a high-scoring game there, up into the 60s, 70s. I won't disagree with you that Triad will probably come out on top, but look for that to be a close game. Look for Brooke Richard to really to light it up that night, and I just think there's going to be a lot of points scored, and when there's a lot of points scored both ways, I think the game's going to remain fairly close. But we'll move Triad on.
And I think you mentioned being high scoring. They got this Kelsey Funderburger. We know about her. She averages like 28 a game. I think in that Mechanicsburg game on Saturday night, she had 26. She's got some help too. There's a girl, a junior, Faith Aricchio, I believe is her name.
Yeah.
She had 20-some against Mechanicsburg. They got a Levings girl, I believe. That's
Rebecca Levings is averaging about 11, 12 points a game. So they've got a lot of talent over there.
It's not just one girl. So, all right. Well, so we're picking Triad to move on there. That brings them pits them against the Raiders in the second round here. The Raiders at 11-8 now. TK, Russia Triad. What's your prediction there?
Well, before tonight, I probably would have to lean towards Triad, but with a chink in their armor, I think Russia can look at them as a team that they could beat, put a good defense on them, and play the game of the year. And I think the Raiders could come out with the win, but it'll have to be the game of the year. I'm going to be a homer and go with the Raiders. They're going to pull it out. They're going to get excited about being in the tournament, being over there in Sidney, and they're going to pull out that good defense that they have. They've been putting on people all year, and it's going to be a close one, but I'll give it to the Raiders.
No, well, I hope you're right on that one, TK, and I'll agree with you on that too. I'll take the Shelby County League in that one.
Yeah, I don't think Coach King and if I would have to guess, I don't think they're intimidated by Triad. To be honest with you, I imagine they're probably more interested in playing Triad than going up against Laramie again.
I would think so too. And nothing against the Ohio Heritage Conference, TK. We've got they got, but sometimes you question the strength of schedules over there, especially in basketball. Football, different things like that are different. I know they produce some really good cross-country teams out of that conference, but basketball, Triad, Shelby County League, I'll take the Raiders.
Yep, I'm with you there, Ken.
All right, so that brings the sectional finals to Russia versus Houston. And I know these two teams split during the regular season. Here's the rubber match. What's going to happen, TK?
I'm going to give that one to Russia. They've been a lot more consistent. Once they beat Houston in their second game, this is the second half of the season. They've been more consistent than Houston. I think they take that momentum and they win that one too.
Well, we hope you're right there as well. So that's some great analysis there, TK.
So Fort Laramie and Russia moving on, which makes sense. The teams that finished second and third in the SCL, of course, Anna's in the Division III tournament, so they don't count. But makes sense, and I hope that's how it comes out. So, all right, TK. Well, any other things you want to share with us tonight?
Well, I do have one little tidbit. Tried to look this up to see how often it happens, and I couldn't find too many times. But the other night, a junior, Bianca Quisenberry from Tecumseh, put up a quadruple double.
Wow! Quadruple double. I've heard of a triple double. I've heard of a triple double, but a quadruple double.
That's right. She had 32 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 steals on the night. And the Tecumseh win over Ben Logan.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Wow. That's a great stat. I'll tell you what, that TK, he knows a little bit about every conference there is.
Yeah, he sure does. All right, TK, that's all the time we got for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to look forward to talking to you next week. Kind of a preview of the tournament. The tournament starts, Saturday, I believe, is the first round? The 18th, right. I think.
Yep. So, we thank you for joining us tonight, TK.
Always a pleasure to be with you guys, and we'll look forward to talking again next week.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, well, that takes care of our girls basketball. Ken, that was some good stuff there.
Ooh, that was quite a recap of girls basketball, Craig.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll go through some boys' games, and we'll be back here in a few.
Turn off the D-IV sound. Close the drawer and sweep the floor. Change the sign close to lock the door. Kevin's waiting in his Thunderbird, blasting down the bitters old American girl. Restless girls is ready for the night. All they're ready for the night. 17 pissed at the world. We don't know why, but it's worth fighting for. Tomorrow was just a lifetime away, but tonight is everything. It's another small town song about nothing ever going on a Friday night. Heading to a town, score some bills to get up to rising. Check out the local bands, tie on a bus and take a chance with the pretty girl just to get shot down. Another night in a small town.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Before the break, we were talking girls basketball. Ken, I did get one correction. I think I said Triad was going to West Liberty, and actually West Liberty is going to Triad. So, mistake. Thanks for the viewer out there that corrected me on that one. But let's talk about some boys basketball. Unfortunately, we don't have Big Dog with us here tonight. kind of miss him. I think he's out of state, isn't he?
He is. Big Dog's covering the Wright State Lady Raiders tonight up at the University of Wisconsin Green Bay. So we miss you, Big Dog.
Yeah, we'll look forward to getting him back. The boys tournament draw is this weekend, so we'll be talking to Big Dog next week and breaking down that boys pick with sectional, I imagine. So, all right, Ken, let's talk about the games tomorrow night, Friday night games. All 7 boys teams are in action, and they, like I said, the tournament draws this weekend, so it's a big, exciting weekend. Let's talk about this first game I want to talk about is Jackson Center at Lehman, a non-league game. I saw in the paper tonight where Lehman coach Isaiah Williams said that Jackson Center might see the best guard that they've seen all season in Solomon King White.
I read that as well, Craig. Jackson Center is going into that game 17-0. They're ranked number 2 in the state of Ohio. The game's at Lehman, going into the Cathedral, Craig. You heard it here first. Lehman pulls the upset, gives Jackson Center the first loss of the season.
Lehman pulling the upset. You know Jackson's 17-0 right now.
I know that, Craig. After Friday night, though, I think they're going down to defeat. I think Lehman's going to beat them.
Okay, well,
that's going to throw a whole wrinkle into a lot of potential voting and things like that in the sectional tournament. But,
well, I'll tell you a little secret. I was thinking of picking Anna knocking off Jackson here at their last league game. But if you're picking Lehman, that would be a surprise to me. But you said it first.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, let's get into the league games. We've got Fairlawn traveling to Houston, Ken, and
Yeah, the last time these two teams met, actually, Craig, Houston was down 8 points some mid-fourth quarter, actually threw a little full-court pressure on the Jets. They were without Anthony Gillum. He was out with his injury. Houston came back and won that game 53-50. And Jesse Flippo had 16 points, a near double-double that night with 9 rebounds. Jake Braun actually led him in scoring with 18. Fairlawn, all of a sudden, Anthony Gillum's back. Fairlawn's 5-13. Now all of a sudden they've got Gillum. Craig, what happens?
Yeah, well, Alexander's saying Gillum isn't even 100% right now. And I saw he had, I think, 26 the other night, had 27 the game before that. The 2 games he's been back, he's had 26 and 27. So if he's not 100%, boy, I'm anxious to see him when he is 100%.
Yeah, boy, he can. He's been scoring, and with him back, and they'll be a more dangerous team.
Yeah, that should be a great game. So I think that one's a coin flip there. I'm not sure who to pick on that one. The next thing I'm going to talk about is kind of a backyard rivalry. It is a backyard rivalry, and that is Anna at Botkins. Anna's been clicking right along here. What's your opinion on that one?
Anna beat them by a score of 57-39 the last time these two teams met, Craig. I expect a lot of the same. Nick Ryer had a big game, a double-double for the Rockets the last game, and Shannon Williams continues to play well. Jay Meyer has just been, he's just been hotter than a firecracker. He's been lighting it up from everywhere. Botkins has had a nice year, and they'll play hard, but look for Anna to continue to roll.
They're dangerous. I mean, they gave Rushi a good game, they could play Anna tough here. But
they could.
But like you said, that first matchup, Anna pretty much rolled. So I'll expect the same thing this Friday. And the last game we want to talk about, huge rivalry here, is Fort Laramie at Rushi. We know the records there. I think you can throw those out the window. And we know how that first game went, don't we?
We do, Craig. That was just one heck of a game at Fort Laramie. It was a Saturday night special, first of all, and Rushi had back-to-back league games that weekend, and Rushi ended up winning a 50-49 thriller. In that game, Fort Laramie led almost the entire way until about 9-10 seconds left or so when Treg Francis hit a long 3-pointer from near the top of the key, and Rushi ended up pulling out a 1-point victory. It was just a great game and to watch, and it was early in the season. It pretty much set the stage, Craig, for what I feel has happened the whole year. Rushi's played well. They're at 12-5. Laramie struggled a little bit. They're at 3-14. But like you said, this is going to be another good ball game. Throw the records out.
Yeah, and it's senior night at Rushi. I know they're starting the 5 seniors that are healthy for Rushi, so going to be kind of an emotional game for them. Those seniors' last game on their home floor.
Yeah, it will be. But look for Rushi to pull out the W at home on senior night.
Okay. All right. Well, that takes care of Friday night's games. I want to get to this real quick, just to mention, like I said, boys tournament draws this weekend. I was taking a look at that pick with sectional, Ken. There's 12 teams in it, and I was a little surprised that only 4 of those 12 teams have winning records. It's I don't know what you're...
That is kind of surprising, Craig, and a lot of that has to do with the balance of the Shelby County League this year. You've got Jackson Center running away undefeated in the league currently, and then Russia and Anna both at 7-3, and then a lot of teams, in the 500 range. So it's been, they kind of beat each other up, and it makes it tough to get to 500 that way. So.
Well, let's real quick, maybe we can talk about who we think the top 4 seeds are. Like I said, there's only 4 teams with winning records, so I assume that means Jackson's the 1 seed, probably Russia at 12-5.
Agreed.
And then you got Mechanicsburg at 11-6 and Lehman at 9-7. Those round out 3 and 4.
I agree with 1 and 2, Craig. I think 3 Mechanicsburg. I think they're going to fall some. Again, not bashing the Ohio Heritage Conference and all, but they got beat by Fairlawn Tuesday night. Fairlawn went into that game with what were they, 4-13 at the time, knocked off a team that was 11-6, 11-5. So, I think Mechanicsburg's stock may have dropped a little bit due to that game. They'd probably fall to a 5 or 6 seed. Look for Lehman probably to get the 3, and maybe Botkins or Houseman, somebody like that, to slip in and get the 4 seed.
Okay, a team with a losing record with the 4. Okay, that can happen. All right, well, that takes care of boys basketball for us. Before we close it out here, Ken, we did have a little bit of cross-country news tonight, didn't we? Cross-country track news, whatever you want to call it.
We did. We had some big news. I heard today from over at Versailles that one of our favorite runners, Tammy Berger, is going to sign her letter of intent this week or next week, real soon, to run for the Ohio State University Buckeyes. So she'll be joining locals Katie Borchers, Janelle Oberding. So it looks like the Buckeyes are recruiting in the Miami Valley area. Congratulations to a great girl, a great kid, and a great runner in Tammy Berger. Yeah, we were contacted by Berger's camp this morning, and they told us about, like I said, her actually signing that letter next week sometime at Versailles there. So looking forward to that, and I'm sure Ohio State's looking forward to her signing on the dotted line, making it official. I'm sure they will too. And also a big congratulations goes out to another local runner, Allison Roth. She signed a letter of intent to run for the Ohio University Bobcats, Craig. This is a team led by one Jolio Curso, a Miami East graduate of a few years ago. And the Ohio Bobcats, Craig, cross-country program, one of the top programs in the country. Really? Last year they finished, I think, top 20 in the country. So they're getting also a very good, strong runner in Allison Roth, and congratulations to her. Yeah, I love seeing all those great runners from this area staying in the state. Allows us to keep a little bit better tabs on them, doesn't it? Yes, it does. All right. Well, that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. Before we go, let's find out if we had a winner to the trivia question. Well, Craig, as of a few minutes ago, I did not have any correct answers, but let me see if we got one right now or not. So tonight's trivia question was, who was the last Shelby County League girls basketball player to be named first team All-Ohio? Craig, we had... Can I guess? You can guess. I think I got the answer. What is it? Sarah Schultze from Anna. Craig, Sarah Schultze was first team All-Ohio. The 6'1" senior led the Anna Rockets to an impressive 20-0 regular season in 2007, only to be defeated by the Versailles Lady Tigers in the regional finals, semifinals. You might remember that game. Yep. She later went on to have a fine career in Ohio State, so congratulations to Sarah. Unfortunately, Craig, that's not the right answer. I have no idea. We had Jolie Regula as an answer. Remember Jolie Regula from Jackson Center? Yeah. We had Janelle Oberding as an answer. You remember her, of course, a few years back. A great basketball player for Fort Loramie. Nobody got tonight's answer correct, Craig, so we don't have to give a T-shirt out. You have to think outside the box on this one. She did not play for Anna. She did not play for Fort Loramie. She did not play for Jackson Center. She played for Fairlawn. Congratulations goes out to Amanda Francis. Amanda Francis, 2008 senior Lady Jet, averaged 24 points a game and was first team All-Ohio. You know what? I just saw her Monday night. She was at that Fairlawn game. She was, and you know what? Her sister Audrey is a pretty nice basketball player. She's following in her sister's footsteps. Yes, she is. And Amanda's actually having quite a career right now at Ohio Northern. Right? That's correct. Yeah. So the right answer tonight was Amanda Francis. Unfortunately, nobody got it, but she had a great career at Fairlawn, and thanks for everybody that did guess. Like I said, we had guesses all over the board, but none of them were correct. I get told every week that your trivia questions are too easy, yet nobody got this. Yeah, I got some people keep telling me I'm too easy, so I got you all this week. All right. That's going to take care of things. I think this is our longest running Fish Report Live show that we've had, about close to 40 minutes, so apologize if we kept anybody up past their bedtime. But just want to say thanks real quick to our sponsors. I want
want to say thanks to all those correspondents out there that reported scores into us tonight. Thanks to TK for taking the call tonight and giving us the breakdown of the sectional. And thanks to Mark Cantwell, who provided the music for the commercial you saw just a little bit ago. But that's going to do it for us tonight, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next week. But for Ken Francis, I'm Craig Fissinger saying so long, everyone.